Here's the stats of two exceptional NBA players. Player A has 35 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists per game on 60.3% true shooting. The box plus minus is +10, and the win share stands at 15.2. Then we have player B at 28.9 points, 13 rebounds, 10.5 assists, 60% true shooting, plus 13.2 box plus minus, and 15 win shares. Deciding who deserves the MVP between these two is obviously debatable, but I doubt you'll feel that same way when you realize that player A is Michael Jordan's peak season in '88, and player B is Nikola Jokic this season. But somehow, the NBA media is trying to tell us that SGA deserves it because, well, according to Stephen A., they don't give a damn.
I get where you're coming from. I appreciate the argument. Statistically, you're absolutely right. I don't give a damn. SGA was my MVP last year. He would be my MVP this year if we were voting today.
Who's my guy right now? I mean, I'm going to go SGA because what more can you ask from him?
I don't think the gap is much closer. I mean, team record still is important in MVP races. They always have been, and that's no different this year. The Thunder are still up 11 games on the Nuggets.
But if you think it's simply voter fatigue, you're wrong, because it's actually deeper than that. I actually think Jokic is the type of player that will intentionally not play at full strength just to let Shai Gilgeous-Alexander win his first MVP. But, unfortunately, he has to perform at this level, or the Nuggets will definitely be at the bottom of the league.
They've held the lead in first place in the Western Conference for 2 months, and every time he gets a triple-double, he wins. Yes, stat padding goes on. Is he trying to get triple-doubles? Yes. Mainly because they win every damn time he does.
These are the facts. The Nuggets' offensive rating stands at 127 with Jokic playing. But if he sits, the offense tanks to 105.9. That's a wild 21-point swing. Shai's number for that is 13.1. To put that in perspective, the best offensive rating in the history of the NBA belongs to the 2023-2024 Boston Celtics at 123.2. Jokic alone makes Denver's offense better than that team. Shai is playing his best basketball right now, and he's not making OKC either the best this season or in history.
What happens when you leave the court? When SGA leaves the court this season, Oklahoma City's outscoring the opposition by a point per game. It's a completely different story in Denver. When Jokic leaves the court, Denver's getting outscored by 3 points per game.
That right there is what it means to be the most valuable player. The Joker is the only thing keeping Denver's head above water when they should be drowning. What we're about to see this year is the NBA working hard to snub a player who's averaging a triple-double on 60% true shooting. Only Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook have managed to pull that off for a full year. But where they lag behind is efficiency. You see, Joker's efficiency rating is 32.3. For perspective, MJ's 95-96 MVP year was 29.6. So, yeah, a center's outshining Jordan's prime. Think about that for a sec. And then, on March 2nd, 2025, Jokic decided to drop 2 triple-doubles in one game. 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists against the Suns.
Murray lost his footing momentarily, missed the shot. Jokic tips it to himself and scores.
But got it to go.
Here's Jokic, who scored the last 7 points for Denver, gets past Plumlee, little half hook with the left hand goes.
That still didn't stop a media guy from calling Jokic an underdog. KD was more than happy to shut that down.
He's kind of the underdog to Shai right now for him.
No, he's not an underdog. Stop it. I'm not going to let y'all keep doing that, man. Jokic never is an underdog, any situation, man. Stop.
So why is the media acting like what Jokic is doing is regular or beneath what Shai is doing? The fact he's been in the MVP conversation for the last 5 years is a problem that goes beyond voters simply wanting to hand the award to someone else. The truth is, another Jokic MVP might upset the power standings in the NBA. See, with 3 MVPs in 4 years, it's starting to seem like Jokic has overstayed his MVP welcome. Flashback to 1997. MJ drops 29.6 points, 5.9 rebounds, 4.3 assists, drags the Bulls to 69 wins, one of the best records ever. But Karl Malone snags it with 27.4 points, 9.9 rebounds, 4.5 assists on a 64-win Jazz squad. Why? Voters were over MJ's shine. 4 MVPs already, so they toss Malone the bone. Today, MJ sits on the NBA throne as the GOAT, and not giving him that MVP has changed nothing. But one can clearly tell that was a case of voter fatigue. But in this case, the NBA doesn't even like this guy. Many say his game is not athletic or forceful. He's not throwing down monster dunks, neither is he running around on the court at great speed. Many people have called Jokic's game boring, and now they need someone whose game is more appealing. And right now, that someone is Gilgeous-Alexander. The Golden Boy is averaging 32.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists on 52% shooting, leading OKC to a 52-11 West-topping record. Flashy, young, and they're saying he's got some kind of aura. But the NBA media have a good excuse to snub Joker for the MVP, and that excuse is team success. OKC's 52-11 shines bright, and this won't be the first time it's happening. We saw this play out when Malone won the award in '97 and Derrick Rose in '11. Voters drool over best player on the best team, but even Jokic, who normally doesn't hype himself, knows he's playing the best basketball of his life.
This is my third or fourth year in a row, so I'm really... I cannot control it. I think I'm playing the best. I will say that I think I'm playing the best basketball of my life. So if that's enough, it's enough. If not, the guy deserves it. He's really amazing.
There's no doubt that the NBA wants to give the MVP to SGA, but is he helping his case? How did he perform against the man he's trying to take the MVP from? The OKC versus Denver showdown was supposed to help us all decide who deserved MVP, but it ended in a stalemate, if that's how you want to look at it. Yes, the final outcome was 2-2 apiece, but it's more than that. On March 9th, when SGA recorded 40 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists on 46.9% to Jokic's 24 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 blocks on 43.5%, at that point, many concluded that SGA was the MVP. OKC won 127-103, and people acted like they'd forgotten about who the Joker was. So, Jokic went nuclear.
Switch pass into Jokic, turn, spin, got it.
Initial attack from SGA, they're doubling.
Alley-oop to Porter.
Just when people declared the MVP race was over, the Joker dropped 35 points, 18 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 block, 1 steal on 75% shooting, leading a 140-127 beatdown on OKC. SGA countered with 40 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks on 47.9%, but that's about it. Interestingly, people are acting like the clutch stats shouldn't matter in an MVP debate. Well, it should, and the media knows about it, but they can't talk about it because it doesn't favor their golden boy. But the fact is, in the final 5 minutes of close games, Jokic is hitting 65% from the field, averaging 7.2 points, while SGA's at 54.8%, 6.8 points. So Jokic is out here nailing game winners, like that March 10th dagger, but the NBA just can't have that. With a 4th MVP in 5 straight years, Jokic will have to be mentioned alongside all-time greats like LeBron, Kareem, and Chamberlain. But with the NBA currently trying to go global, it seems they're not ready to have the face of the league be someone who's seemingly boring and unathletic. This explains why the media already have their mind made up on who's getting the vote, regardless of anything the Joker might do.
These two type of players that's really making an argument for themselves.
Right.
And you said you already saying Shea. wouldn't that be a closed door on all information that Jokic would bring in? Like,
with 20 more games left.
That's totally fair. What I'm saying is, if Shea continues on the path that he's on, and Jokic does the same, I'm going with Shea. I don't mean to imply that Shea can fall off the map and what he has done up to this point, it stops. He stinks up the joint the last 20 games of the damn year, but I'm going to vote for him anyway. That's not what we mean when we say something like that.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm sorry.
What the fuck it sounds like to me. No matter what he do for the rest of the way, you already got your mind made up.
But as I said earlier, greatness is undeniable, and we'll be talking about what Jokic is currently doing for decades. There's just no hiding the Joker's numbers.
Guy has 90, 50, 30 over the course of the last 3 games. Nobody's ever done that in a 3-game span. It's the 4th time he's done it in his career.
Jokic's numbers can't really be compared to Shea's, so let's compare it to the legends. Take Magic Johnson's 1986-87 MVP year. 10.5 assists, 23.9 points, 6.3 rebounds on 52.2% shooting. Here's Jokic matching those dimes, 10.5 assists, but with 28.9 points, 13 rebounds on 58.2%. So here's a center outpacing Magic. That's insane. When the president of the Big Man Alliance, Shaq, lost the MVP to Steve Nash in 2004-2005, he recorded 22.9 points, 10.4 rebounds, 2.7 assists on 60.1%. But Steve Nash took home the award with 15.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, 11.5 assists on 50.2%. But neither player was dropping historic numbers, and Nash edged him out basically because his team did better. But the Joker's numbers are just too wild just to snub him because of team success. Not least because Jokic is on pace for a triple-double average as a center, 28.9, 13, 10.5. Even Wilt Chamberlain never did that for a full season. His 1966-67 MVP had 24.1 points, 24.2 rebounds, 7.8 assists on 68.3%. Jokic's points and assists top that, and his efficiency is quite close enough too. Simply put, Nikola Jokic's 2024-25 is historic, and he's doing it all because of the Nuggets. He's matching Magic's dimes, topping LeBron's snubbed years, and outgunning Shaq's prime. But voters aren't having it. He has 3 MVPs already, so they insist it's SGA's turn. The media's drooling over Shea's 32.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists on 52%, and OKC's 52-11 record. But the real MVP debate for Jokic's numbers this season can only be whatever is the peak MVP season. The numbers, the clutch, the history, it's all Jokic. And that's why this snub isn't just insane, it's a crime. Like, seriously, do we really want to look back on what the Joker's doing this season and say the greatest offensive season of all time wasn't worthy of MVP? Let us know your thoughts in the comments because we'd be reading them. And if you enjoyed this video, then check out why the Spurs Wemby plan is pure genius next.